Hello friends and welcome back. Right now there's a lot of buzz around Disney's live-action reimagining of the animated classic Mulan. Now based on the trailer, the movie looks pretty rad, but at $30 per rental, I can't help but wonder if there's a cheaper way to scratch that remake itch. Fortunately, the good people of UAV Sterling Entertainment Group have you covered with the 1998 straight-to-video release, The Secret of Mulan. Available now for the low price of free. The Secret of Mulan is what some people refer to as a mockbuster. That is a very quickly and cheaply produced ripoff of another more popular property. This same company also released The Secret of Anastasia and The Secret of the Hunchback. What's funny is this wasn't even the only mockbuster of Mulan to come out in 1998. There was also The Legend of Mulan and Mulan. Yep, just the same title. I bet that one had the most sales of dads who are like, "Ah, fuck, I got the wrong movie." What sets The Secret of Mulan apart is it doesn't just try to cash in on one Disney property. It also brings in elements of A Bug's Life by making many of the characters, including Mulan herself, into bugs. You heard that right. In this movie, Mulan is a bug. You will not be surprised to hear that this movie was total trash. Coming in at only 50 minutes, it was still about 50 minutes too long. I looked it up on Wikipedia and apparently there was no credited director, which if you see the movie makes a lot of sense. We've got a lot to get to, but before we dive in, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. While you do that, I'm gonna take some ibuprofen and drink a little water because this movie gave me a splitting headache. Here we go. Right away, this is how the movie begins.
It was the year of the Fire Horse, in the reign of Emperor Sin Qian, long before your grandmother's grandmother was born. It was a time of barbarian invaders, led by the brutal mala-kahn.
We're 5 seconds in, and I'm already like, wait, what the hell is happening here? You need to give me some more clear delineation between the skies are blue and you're playing peaceful music, and then you show a village on fire and being completely ransacked. In the opening number, we meet the villain of this movie, who I believed is named Mala-kahn, but it's a little hard to hear what they're singing.
Mala-kahn, Mala-kahn, traveling over your front lawn. Mala-kahn, Mala-kahn, pillaging and looting.
I am also immediately very confused by the animal rules of this movie. So the villains and the good guys are both bugs, but then there's also amphibians and mammals fighting alongside the bugs, but then bugs are also like they're horses. We meet the villain's right-hand man, inexplicably named Bowtie. Bowtie does this semi-offensive Jewish voice throughout the entire movie.
Mala-kahn the magnificent, Mala-kahn the...
At first I was like, oh, okay, I think I get it because this movie is ripping off both Mulan and A Bug's Life. He's being like Woody Allen's character from A Bug's Life. But then I remembered that Woody Allen was actually in Ants, not A Bug's Life. So I wonder if this guy for research just watched the wrong movie and he like came into the booth and was like, oh shit, I watched Ants, not A Bug's Life. And they were like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. We then meet Mulan. The extent to which Mulan is a bug compared to how much the evil bug is a bug, it's a really wide range here. Mulan is more like a bug minotaur. We see she's really into fighting and stuff. Her friend is like, you're never gonna find a man if you fight all the time. And Mulan's like, we'll see about that. We cut to another battle scene. This time we meet the kindly old emperor and his right-hand man, who I think is supposed to be like the guy from the original Mulan cartoon, who's like, let's get down to business. They are both butterflies. This will be quasi-important later. Hello? Oh no. I'll be right there. My son just pooped in the bathtub. Let's go deal with that. The battle begins, and immediately after it starts, I already have more questions. One soldier says to his horse-like bug, but aren't they all bugs? Later in the same battle, the good guys are shown shooting bows and arrows, but the arrows themselves are mosquitoes. So bugs can be people, horses, and also weapons. We meet a character named Jingjing, who I guess is a scout of some kind. But she's also a girl, which, let me be clear, is totally fine. But if I remember the plot of Mulan correctly, the whole point is that girls aren't allowed in the army, but they already have a girl in the army. She warns that there are thousands of troops with wasps on the way. Yet another human weapon hybrid. Down to business guy tells the emperor that he needs to get safe and head back to the capital. The emperor's 2 servants suddenly show up, and they're a rabbit and I think a rat. And it seems like they're setting these guys up like they're gonna be the comedic relief of the movie. But after this scene where we see them right now, we won't see them in the movie again for another like 40 minutes.
And how?
Hey, stop bugging me.
You stop bothering me.
One quick thing about these battles, as I've mentioned before, the movie's only like 50 minutes long. Half of its runtime are these long, boring battles. The battle ends, we get another taste of mala-kahn being a total dick to Bowtie.
Bowtie, I should have left you to rot in the garbage heap where I found you. You useless, filthy wretch.
Mala-kahn is so cruel to Bowtie that the entire time I was like, oh, I guess Bowtie is gonna stop taking it at some point and join the good guys instead. And that just never happens. He just takes it the whole movie. Moving along, the Emperor makes an announcement that every able-bodied man is gonna have to join the army because they're short on troops and it seems like they're gonna get defeated otherwise. Mulan's dad wants to join, but he's too old, so Mulan decides that she's gonna say, screw the rules and join the army, but not before she sings a terrible song. It's also pretty clear they only gave the actress one take to sing because it gets a little rough at points.
To stay here, to wait here, it's more than I can face.
At the end of the song, she decides to run off and join the army. Mulan joins the troops using the fake name, I think, Hua?
Soldier Hua. No, Hua.
Who?
Are you an owl?
Hua. She immediately proves that she has the goods and is put at the front lines of the army. Things seem to be going great, even if her pretending to be a man gets off to an inauspicious start.
This is a life, isn't it, comrade?
Yes. I mean, yes.
Back at the palace, this dragonfly guy shows up to tell the Emperor some bad news. Basically, it's the same shit as before. He's like, oh, our troops are outnumbered. The Emperor then tells him that he needs to go find out their plans so that they can attack their plans. That leads to this exchange.
You still here, Janjay? I said I need more information. Go! That is it. No thanks. No nothing. I am of royal blood. Not one of his peasant recruits. How dare he treat me like this?
Okay, so I get that the Emperor was being a little curt here, but this seems like kind of an overreaction from the dragonfly guy. If I did that every time a boss snipped at me a little bit, I would be completely unemployable. All right, so we're gonna have to set up that meeting for Thursday. Jake, can you handle that? Sure. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that later. I mean now. Can you handle it now?
I will burn this bitch to the ground!
We get to yet another fucking battle. Man, these things are nonstop. It's looking pretty grim for the good guys until...
Never give up hope! Charge!
Charge?
Holy shit, did you just Leroy Jenkins that thing?
Alright, thumbs up. Ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
Oh my god, he just ran in. Save him! Oh geez, stick to the plane! Oh Jesus, let's go. Stick to the plan, Shove. Stick to the plane. Oh gee, oh fuck.
Anyway, good guy army wins the battle, Hua gets made into a captain, and she gets sent on a scouting mission with Xing Xing. Back with mala-kahn and Bowtie, mala-kahn is like, I don't get it, why did they suddenly win a battle? Arg! He then asks Bowtie to find him a traitor. If you guess that the traitor is going to be that dragonfly guy from before who was really angry at the Emperor, you are correct. More on that soon. Xing Xing and Mulan, aka Hua, go on their scouting mission. During the process, they get caught by some of the evil bug bad guys. They easily dispatch with them, but during the process, Hua's helmet comes off, revealing her long, girlish hair.
You're a girl. Yes, I know.
That was a little passive-aggressive. Also, again, Xing Xing is a girl, so it seems like girls are allowed in the army. I really don't get what's going on here. Anyway, Xing Xing's like, yeah, I'll keep your secret. Another battle. Hua comes up with a plan for how she's going to capture a bunch of the bad guys. It's a big success. Unfortunately, Bowtie is there again.
Protect me!
There's no time for grumbling!
Yes, great Khan.
What the hell is this relationship?
A brilliant plan, well executed, Captain Hua.
A brilliant plan, well executed, Hua. This is the point in the movie where I had heard the name Hua so many times and the name Mulan so few times that I genuinely started thinking the movie was called Hua. Later, Hua is talking strategy with some of the soldiers when Xing Xing comes and tells her,
Captain Hua, you are needed immediately. Now? That is what immediately means. Come on.
The only thing I genuinely enjoyed about this movie was how catty these two characters were to each other. Here, Xing Xing makes a genuinely shocking reveal.
You won't believe it. I'm in love. Xing Xing, we're in the middle of a war.
It's always funny to me, in the middle of a terrible movie where nothing makes any sense at all, where a character says something that everyone in the audience would actually be thinking in that given moment. We have been fighting nonstop war, but guess what? I'm in love. What the fuck are you talking about? Turns out the guy she found time to fall in love with was, oh no! It's the dragonfly guy who wants to betray the emperor because he was kind of rude to him that one time. Not really sure how or when she was able to fall in love with this guy, but I don't really know how time works in this movie, in part because it seems to be daylight all the time. The traitor dragonfly guy picks up Hua and her friend gives chase. Hua decides that the smart move to do here is to just kind of push herself off the guy and let herself plummet to the earth. The scene of her falling is long and weird.
So strange. What's happening to me?
I genuinely don't know. Xing Xing breaks down the bad news about Hua to let's get down to business guy. He is very displeased, but he's also like, all right, well, we gotta do what we gotta do. Turns out the reason that Hua was feeling weird was because she was going into a cocoon, because she was a caterpillar person, and now she's turning into a butterfly, I guess. It hadn't occurred to me this whole time that she was a caterpillar, but then everyone else in her orbit was a butterfly, so I guess it stands to reason. The traitor dragonfly goes back to mala-kahn's camp and reveals the news that Hua is dead. This leads to an absolutely horrible song from Bowtie. Look at this awkward moment before he starts singing.
It worked!
I genuinely cannot think of any character from any movie I've ever seen that I have hated as deeply and as passionately as I have hated Bowtie. Every time he comes on screen, it makes me angry. He's hated by every character in the movie too. He has no arc, he has no redemption, he serves no narrative purpose. He isn't even just not funny, he's anti-funny. He's a character for no one. Anyway, time for another fucking battle. Another thing this movie does a really bad job of is trying to decide the tone of its battle scenes. There's a lot of goofy shit like Bowtie gets dropped on his ass and it goes. But then there's another scene where a guy falls on his ass on these spikes, and the scream he lets out is like something that a person would do if one of their limbs got chopped off in a serious movie. You have bees dropping pollen bombs, which at first is like, oh, haha, pollen bombs. But then you're like, wait, is this chemical warfare? There's also a part where a wasp gets the end of its stinger cut off, and for some reason I found that really disturbing. The evil army starts to overpower the good army. They need to retreat. The bad guys infiltrate the emperor's castle. They burn that thing to the ground. As people go running and screaming, here all of a sudden are randomly those two comic relief characters again. I have never seen two more forgettable characters in my life, and no matter how many times I've had to watch and rewatch their scenes, I cannot tell you one single word they said.
Just you wait, can't do. Those clothes are useless when it comes to the Emperor's comfort. Better wisdom than luxury, and how?
Xing Xing decides to go look for Hua. As she searches, this massive green frog thing comes out and is like, are you my toy? And she's like, no, and she flies away from it. This is Chekhov's large frog thing. It will come back later. But first, this leads to yet another animal-based question. So it would stand to reason that to a bug, a frog would be, pretty big looking. But elsewhere in the movie, all the other mammals, amphibians, non-bug-like creatures are all themselves bug size. So why is there suddenly this one normal-sized frog when like a turtle and a rabbit are the size of bugs? Make a choice, movie! Xing Xing all but gives up, but then here comes Hua as a butterfly. She kind of like magically appears, which is weird because as far as I know, she doesn't have any magical powers, and she won't display any magical powers for the rest of the movie.
Since Zhang Zhang took you, things have been off. How long has it been? What's happened? It's been weeks.
It's been weeks? I genuinely thought it had been like maybe 2 hours. Xing Xing squeezes Hua back into her armor and flies her back to the camp. On the way, they're seen by the traitorous dragonfly guy, and he's like, no! And he goes to try and kill them. But then Down to Business guy is like, hey, everyone attack that guy. So they attack him, and then Dragonfly and Hua come back and they land, and Hua's like, hey, I'm sorry I'm gone, but I'm back now. Hua is welcomed back with open arms and immediately promoted to general. Hua has one more favor to ask.
Your newest general has one request, though, Prince. Forgive Xing Xing for her foolishness.
I love that after all this time, she's still taking digs at her. Time for Jesus Christ, another battle. Good news, it's the last one. The bad guys launch some type of bug inside the castle walls where when it lands, it lets off this poisonous gas. So yet another case of a bug being treated like a weapon as opposed to like a person. Mala-kahn tells the good guys to surrender. Down to Business is like, no, you guys surrender. And then Mala-kahn laughs for like a little bit too long. Anyway, the battle begins. The bad guys now use this weapon, which is a spider that shoots webs out of its mouth. Look, I know it's a cartoon, but could we make an effort to be even like slightly anatomically correct? The web tangles up the Down to Business guy, leaving Hua to have a one-on-one battle with Mala-kahn. Simultaneously, Xing Xing and the Dragonfly character have themselves a final battle that results in the frog from earlier eating the dragonfly.
Don't you know who I am?
Ribbit, my new toy.
Another one of those screams where I feel like maybe they should have toned it down a little bit. Back at the fight between Mala-kahn and Hua, Hua gets knocked off of the bridge. Her armor comes off and she flies back up as a hot butterfly. Mala-kahn chases her and ends up smashing into a wall. He gets captured. That's the end of him and his army. I guess they all surrender. Hua goes back to Down to Business guy and is like,
Prince Shan, your enemies are destroyed.
Rise and face me. Who are you?
who are you? Or who are you? I'm losing it. She's like, hey, sorry about that whole lying about my gender thing. At first, Down to Business guy seems a little angry, but then he's like,
I'm not sure which I like better, the courageous and loyal Hua, or the brave and beautiful Mulan.
So, respect to my guy for not making a big deal out of it. Gender is fluid and all that good stuff. But this is a very abrupt and not super appropriate 180. Their relationship had been strictly professional this entire time. She gave no indication that she was interested in him at any point before. So, it's pretty weird to treat a person who worked for you one way when you thought they were a man, and then as soon as you think they're a woman, to really strongly come on to them. Hey, Todd, nice work during that presentation today. Thanks, Rich. Oh, by the way, I'm a woman. Marry me! Mulan and Down to Business guy actually do get married in what seems to be happening literally immediately after he finds out she's a woman, but based on the way time works in this movie, I'm going to assume at least a few months have passed. They fly around. She sings a song that sounds suspiciously like Color of the Wind from Pocahontas.
And my heart is a kingdom, though it's humble and plain.
They kiss. The end. But wait, what happened to my favorite character, Bowtie? The answer? Nothing. Literally nothing. We don't see him working for the good guys. We don't see him being punished for his crimes. Just the last time you saw him was the last time you saw him. Even though this movie was only 50 minutes long, I would have accepted another 30 minutes if all 30 of them were people just realistically torturing Bowtie. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you had some fun. Have you ever seen a mockbuster growing up? Leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to check it out. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. I post a new video every Saturday morning, so if you don't want to miss it, make sure you hit that little notification bell as well. Thanks so much, guys. Hooah!